time on I Heart Pickleball, we met Bob and Jetty Lanius. This month, we traveled to meet New England's first ambassador, George Rice, and hear how pickleball is growing in beautiful and historic Cape Cod. I Heart Pickleball is powered by HYANNS leg cramps, proud supporter of pickleball players everywhere.
I'm George Rice. I live on Cape Cod. In 2007, I went to Florida and I happened to stop by to visit one of my neighbors. He said, "Let me show you something that's very popular here." So we went over and there was my first exposure to pickleball. When I came back, there was not a single place in New England, all 6 states, places to play. The nearest ambassador to me was in Albany, New York. I lived in a community with 4 tennis courts. So I then went and bought 4 paddles and we started pickleball in my community.
My name is Paul Rogers. I live here in Falmouth, Massachusetts, and I met George through a connection at the Cape Cod Curling Club. And George asked me if I wanted to get introduced to another brand new sport, to me anyhow, pickleball, which George learned about in Florida. And he asked me if I wanted to learn a little bit more pickleball, and I said sure, and I've been playing ever since.
I'm Steve WHITTLESEY. George taught us how to play, taught us the rules, been a regular player.
But I decided, okay, if I'm really going to do this, I ought to join the Pickleball Association, U.S. Pickleball Association. So I filled out the form, and down in the corner was a little box that said, check here if you want to promote the sport. I checked. I didn't know what that meant, and I didn't know what was going to happen. And 2 weeks later, I got a stack of these business cards in the mail and said, I am now an official ambassador. I wanted to go to a public place where anybody could play. So I went to the Barnstable Recreation Department.
George Rice came in and talked about pickleball, and I laughed at him. I go, first off, you're gonna have to explain what pickleball is. I was like, I think we can figure something out because it's a new sport and a new activity, and let's see what happens. We started slow. We started with 2 courts so that we could get the public on it.
Well, when I got permission to use the public courts, I now was able to put this on the U.S. Pickleball website. Anybody could come, and they did. People just started showing up.
My name is Russell WEITZEN. I heard about this game pickleball. They were playing it in the villages, and guys said, they loved it, it's so much fun. So I said, as soon as I heard that, I knew I was going to like this game. One of my fellow softball players said there's a fellow named George who lives in Marston's Mills, and they play pickleball there at a school. So I said, oh, that's great, I'll look up the school, and that's what I did. And there was George Rice, and he introduced me to the game. And I've been playing for 5 years now. Tennis
players would come to play tennis, and first thing you know, we had them playing pickleball, and they loved it.
My name is John DEFEO. My wife and I are tennis players. We went to the court one day to practice our serves, and there was George Rice playing pickleball with 7 other folks. So we tried it, and it was fun, and we're still doing it.
For the town of Barnstable, the pickleball program has really given us an opportunity to have multi-use on our tennis courts and expanded use, so our courts are being used pretty much all the time, which is great. We want to see as many active people as possible.
We play pickleball outside as long as we can. We play until the snow flies, but there's eventually, when the snow's on the courts, we have to go inside, and then we come to this facility, the HYANNS Youth and Community Center, and this is where we play all winter long.
I'm Joe IZZO, General Manager of the HYANNS Youth and Community Center, and we are thrilled to have the pickleball group use our facility. And it's just great to have this group of energetic and nice people come and use our building, and it really brings in a different element to our building and helps us attract more people to our space, which has been great.
There were other towns where people had been exposed to pickleball but didn't have a place to play. I would find out who they were and go visit with them. We'd go to the rec department together, and then once we got playing, I didn't have to go back. They would take over and run that town.
I am Brian Wallace, and I play pickleball in Sandwich, and I got involved with it 7 years ago. And somehow or other, George and I hooked up. Between him and my wife and myself, it seems like it's in every town in the Cape now.
Now that all the tennis courts are going to be relabeled pickleball and tennis courts. And the nice thing now is these courts are going to be resurfaced this year, and they're going to be dual painted, pickleball and tennis courts. Being an ambassador certainly opens the doors I went on the website the other day just to see how it's changed. And when there were no ambassadors in the 6 New England states, now there are 54 ambassadors and 197 places to play. You just watch the sport grow, and you watch the people who play it. They just become so addicted to it.
Almost every week that we come here, there are new people, because George, he keeps sending information out, and the people the place is growing, the number of people are growing.
George is a great ambassador for the sport. His energy level is incredible, and everyone here in the facility loves him, and it's great to have him around.
And something about pickleball players, they are a special breed. I mean, we get along great. Now I've made friends all over Cape Cod, and I never would have met them if I hadn't been active in the sport.
He's been a big pusher for getting it going Cape Cod, especially at HYANNS. It's worked out well for the winter.
George is the organizer behind it all, and you know, he makes a contract with the youth center. He does this, he emails people, so he's been a force. He's been the glue.
Well, when I checked that box, I didn't know what I was checking. I didn't know what was going to happen, but of course it made me an ambassador of the sport. It was a surprise that caught me, but I really love it. You know, 8 years I've been doing this, and I'd love to keep doing it. And I'm 79 years old, and this one thing nice about pickleball is you can play it when you're 8 and you can play it when you're 88. And I'm gonna keep doing it. I may have become an ambassador by accident, but sometimes accidents can lead to really great things.
No matter where you are, pickleball can bring us together to celebrate community, learn new things, and have fun. If you know someone we should feature on a future episode, we would love to hear from you. All you have to do is send us an email and tell us your idea. This episode of I Heart Pickleball has been brought to you by HYANNS Leg Cramps, America's #1 over-the-counter leg cramp medicine. For more information, go to HYANNS.com.